This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino at the RTV6 studio.
And I'm Mark Mullins in my temporary home studio. I'm not with Amanda because RTV6 is practicing social distancing to help stop the spread of coronavirus. First at 7 o'clock here, the Indiana State Department of Health now confirms 12 new COVID-19 deaths across the state. That means a total of 139 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus. According to the Department of Health, 536 more people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 since yesterday, bringing the statewide total of cases to 4,944. Also, a total of 26,191 people have been tested for coronavirus in Indiana since the pandemic began. As we look closer into the number of people dying from COVID-19 in our state, we're learning about 39% of deaths involve people 80 and older. Nearly 31% are in the 70 and older age group. About 19% of deaths have come in the 60 to 69 age range. No one under the age of 30 in Indiana has died from COVID-19. And now let's look at gender. About 60% of deaths are men and about 40% are women.
And tonight, the state says a significant outbreak of COVID-19 at a Madison County nursing home has left nearly a dozen people dead. Indiana State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box says 11 residents of Bethany Point, a nursing home in Madison County, have died. 3 employees are also hospitalized from COVID-19, 2 of them critically, according to Dr. Box.
Our team is facilitating the transfer of asymptomatic residents from this part of the facility to another skilled nursing facility.
The state says it has tested all residents in the specific part of the Bethany Point nursing home where the COVID-19 outbreak occurred. If anyone else tests positive for coronavirus, they will remain quarantined at Bethany Point and will not go to another facility. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is getting answers on unemployment and open businesses. And today, Governor Eric Holcomb announced new rules for businesses as far as who can have customers and who can't. RTV6's Cameron Riddle shows us how this executive order will impact you, as well as who's open and who's closed.
Good evening. The governor's executive order is now making changes to who is allowed inside buildings that up until now had free reign to do what they wanted to do because they were deemed essential businesses. Well, that is now changing. Businesses like grocery stores, pharmacies, and some businesses in transportation, including gas stations, can still operate as normal, with customers allowed to go inside the buildings, do their shopping, and pay for their goods, though many stores are already taking it upon themselves to limit how many people can go inside the store at one time. The executive order now draws a more defined line on what is and is not an essential business by creating a second category of businesses that, while important and in many cases loved, is not a necessity to keep you alive.
So think about florists, bookstores, think about fabric stores, craft stores, beauty supply stores. These things are not necessities of life, but we've created a category that allows them to continue operating under new conditions and restrictions. Specifically, the inside of the store has to be closed to customers. Customers cannot come into the stores to transact business.
Now, if a business does fall into that second category, their doors can remain open, but again, customers are not allowed inside. That business will now have to operate exclusively by either curbside pickup deliveries or online sales. At the State House tonight, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you. For those who are now unemployed because of COVID-19, an extra $600 a week will be coming your way. The U.S. Department of Labor is allowing the states to provide an additional $600 weekly to support American workers and their families during this challenging time. But as RTV6's Stephanie Wade finds out, that money won't be put in Hoosiers' pockets for at least 2 more weeks. She's investigating why there's a delay for Indiana workers and what people can expect.
In food service, that's thousands of people in the state of Indiana.
Like many in the restaurant industry, Rhonda Wilson, who works at a local tavern in Lafayette, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We're a small business, and when our doors were closed, even for carryout, it just isn't enough to, keep workers working.
She is now without work until her boss says they're allowed to open their doors to customers once again.
You're still getting your phone bill. You're still getting your electric bill. You still got to feed your kids.
Wilson, like others, was excited when she heard unemployed workers across the country would be eligible for an extra $600 weekly compensation boost, detailed in the CARES Act. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, benefit payments were able to begin last week, but say it will vary by state. Indiana's Department of Workforce Development announced today that benefit will start being paid out to workers April 20th.
If the president has already signed this and released this package, I just don't understand why people have to wait when the help is there.
That $600 is still in play in Washington, D.C. as to when and how it will be released.
Kevin Betts, an attorney specializing in employment law, says there is just an enormous demand and low supply of people able to process unemployment claims, and to have patience as the state does their best to work within federal guidelines.
We have too much work to do, too many applications to process in this period of time. This was an avalanche.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, people will receive retroactive payments back to their date of unemployment eligibility. The payment period is March 29th through July 31st.
In order to keep up with the record number of new unemployment filings, the Indiana Department of Workforce Development is making some changes to the way they operate, and they are hiring dozens of new employees, several of which started today. Megan Sanctorum explains what you need to know if you're without a job.
There are warnings on the website and long wait times if you try to call.
Right now, we're not staffed for the kind of volume that we're seeing.
The Indiana Department of Workforce Development seeing new unemployment filings like never before.
It's not just that it's heavy volumes. It's volumes that are so far beyond what I think that we would have ever thought was possible.
To put it in perspective, the previous record of new unemployment filings was back in January of 2009, when the state saw 27,000 in 1 week. 2 weeks ago, there were 148,000.
And I think that you'll continue to see those big numbers here.
Josh Richardson is the chief of staff for the Indiana Department of Workforce Development. He says they are doing everything they can to keep up. He says they are constantly updating their website with new information and adding to the frequently asked questions page. He urges people to check that before calling, as many people have had similar questions that could all be answered online. He also says they are reassigning employees who don't typically work in this department, borrowing employees from other agencies, and hiring about 70 new ones. A dozen of them started today.
This is an anxiety-provoking time for a lot of people, and we want to be there for them, and we're working really hard to do that.
His best advice: be patient. He says the system is designed to walk you through the process, and any errors with new claims will likely work themselves out within the typical 21-day period. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And once again, a number of calls they're getting are from people with questions that can be answered online. We'll have a link to their FAQ page posted on our website at theindychannel.com.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced IndyCar to cancel the Detroit Grand Prix, but the IndyCar Series has announced it will put a third race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2020. The new race is called the IndyCar Harvest Grand Prix. It will run on the IMS Road Course Saturday, October 3rd. This is in addition to the IndyCar GMR Grand Prix on July 4th and the Indianapolis 500 on August 23rd. The Harvest Grand Prix is a tribute to the Harvest Classic, which was held in September of 1916. The Harvest Classic was the only racing event held outside of May at the IMS from 1911 through 1993. Indiana's stay-at-home order because of COVID-19 means roads have far less traffic on them than usual, and that's why INDOT says it will be moving a massive construction project that will impact your drive on I-70. That's moving up. INDOT says traffic volume has fallen by 40% since Indiana's stay-at-home order took effect. So a project on I-70 between the North Split and I-465 will now happen this month in hopes of getting it done before heavier traffic patterns resume. I-70 eastbound between the North Split and I-465 will be closed starting next Monday, April 13th. That stretch of interstate will be closed for up to 30 days. And starting April 23rd, the westbound lanes of I-70 will be shut down also between 465 and the North Split. This means major detours through the city. We have all of those for you on our website at theindychannel.com.
The coronavirus pandemic continues to impact us in so many ways. That's why we're putting everything you need to know in one place. Just go to our website, theindychannel.com. We have the latest COVID-19 numbers, how to protect yourself, what authorities are saying, plus stories of people working together to help us all make it through this difficult time.
They've got more than just some of the area's best burgers. Greenwood's Between the Bun is open and giving back to some workers on the front lines of the COVID-19 battle. Find out how you can help. Coming up here on RTV6.
You know, it's not every weekend that a former member of the Fever heads to the Hall of Fame, but that's exactly the case for Tamika Catchings. We'll catch up with the newest inductee. Coming up here at RTV6.
RTV6 app.
RTV6 working for you. There are dozens of restaurants around the area that are still open for takeout and delivery. Many of them are also giving back.
It's a side order of thank you to go along with some great food in Johnson County. Brad Brown shows us how you can help as well.
Greenwood's Between the Bun is first and foremost a burger place. And it's one of the very best in all of central Indiana. Their location at State Road 37 and Southport Road is usually a gathering place as well. The crowds aren't here, but Scott Sims and his staff continue to serve.
It's been stressful, having to adapt so quickly. I mean, if it was something that we seen coming, it might have been a little bit easier, but it was just instantaneous. So immediately it forces you to do things and think things that you wouldn't necessarily have to.
Between the Bun is doing takeout and delivery. They're also making available a list of items you can cook at home.
If you buy a combo meal, we've got a cookie kit for the kids because people are going crazy with their kids at home. They really are. And the kids really don't have anything to do. A friend that owns Sweet Escape Cake Company, and he put out some cookie kits to where you could build your own cookies and design them and decorate them and stuff. So what we did was collaborated with him, and we're now giving away a free cookie kit with the purchase of a certain thing.
The restaurant has a very strong presence online and on social media. Between the Bun is running weekly specials, combo meals of all sorts. This week, though, you can order extra box lunches that will be donated to local medical personnel.
You know, we're just trying to think outside the box. We're trying to do something for medical, the medical people who are on the front lines, taking care of those that need to be taken care of. You know, they're sacrificing a lot, and they're on the front lines, and they're most susceptible.
Serving the community on the go and getting some good food where it needs to be.
If you have a favorite restaurant or a favorite small business, visit them as much as you possibly can. Just keep it going. And hopefully we can be here on the other side of it.
Working for you in Greenwood, Brad Brown, RTV6.
And we're open Indy's RTV6's effort to showcase the businesses that are still open to make sure you know the options available to you. And we hope it inspires you to support local businesses during this difficult time. Go to our website at theindychannel.com and click on the We're Open Indy section to see what restaurants and businesses are still open to serve you.
Spring warmth is returning to central Indiana. Some isolated thunderstorms possible overnight and on a couple more occasions. I'll have that for you coming up.
And receive 2 weeks of treatments free.
If you enjoyed today's temperatures, wait until tomorrow and Wednesday. 2 warmest days this week. Temperatures will exceed 70 degrees. Cooler Thursday and Friday before we bounce back a little bit over the weekend. I just want to point out, as we look beyond the 7-day forecast, all indications are we'll end the second half of the month with below average temperatures, taking us into early May. There have been some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder earlier, northern Illinois, northern Indiana. I think what happens overnight is that line will drop a little more to the south. Temperature right now 67 in Martinsville, Edinburgh, and Greenwood, 65 in Zionsville. Temperatures from north to south, coolest in the northeast, warmest temperatures down along the Ohio River. Bloomington still sits at 70 degrees. Any thunderstorms overnight, and this is really closer to the morning hours, 4 to about 7 a.m., A couple isolated stronger storms are possible, but the risk is low for that. 1 a.m., not much happening. There we go. 4 a.m., you see some thunderstorms around Chicago, southern end then of Lake Michigan, along the state line with Michigan. And by 7 a.m., you can see scattering into the northeast portion of the state. Isolated storms may impact areas. Let's just draw a line and not cut it too close from Lafayette to Muncie north. Temperatures tomorrow in the 70s. Everywhere. That wind will gust 25 miles per hour. Temperatures respond to the warmer southwest wind and climb well above average. And we'll be in the 70s one more day after that. Tomorrow night, clouds willing, you'll see the full moon, the super pink moon it's called. It won't look pink, but it's its closest and brightest of 2020 for the full moons, but clouds will be our challenge. Check it out tonight if you can see it, the almost full moon. Tomorrow night, our rain and thunderstorm chances will increase late tomorrow night into the overnight once again. As you go through 7 to 11, you begin to see this line of thunderstorms here. Should be isolated, picks up again in the southern portion of the state in the overnight hours. We'll have one more round. It looks like Wednesday night. Then the cold front allows the cooler temperatures in Thursday and Friday. Friday only in the 40s for highs. Easter Sunday, 58 degrees, a 40% chance we'll have some showers. Mark?
All right, that's the holiday forecast there. Thanks, Kevin, for that. She's staying at home like the rest of us, but there was a moment for Fever General Manager Tamika Catchings that briefly put the worldwide pandemic in the rearview mirror. It's when Catch gets the call. Sports Director Dave First with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
Timing has always been one of Tamika Catchings' strong suits. When to drive, when to shoot. Ironically, the timing of her Hall of Fame call was very much in question because the world found out about it over the weekend. But Tamika explaining in a Zoom call.
I got the call on Friday. I was driving because I just had to get outside. I did not leave my car, but I was just driving around. They said between 3 and 5 I would find out. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to call at like 4:55. So I just need to get like all of this angst out.
Ultimately, it's a numbers game, and number 24 had it all covered. A career average of 16 points per game with the Fever, league and finals MVPs, and of course, the 2012 WNBA championship.
You're old enough to remember a time where there wasn't the WNBA. How did that league really put you in a position, you think, where here you are, all of a sudden you're in the Hall of Fame?
You know, I think when I look back at my career, I'm so thankful. First off, just thankful for the opportunity for this little girl to have her dream made, and thankful for the time and for believing in, bringing a WNBA team to Indiana and the Pacers organization and putting it underneath that umbrella, because I don't know where I would be.
She's part of a massive Hall of Fame class, which includes the late Kobe Bryant. In fact, all the more telling when you consider both of their fathers played together in Italy. And these family photos, especially now, become priceless.
It is bittersweet, but I think it's also a celebration. I don't feel sadness. I feel happiness. And I feel like, we'll still be able to celebrate him. And I know that he's looking down on us. I think I said this yesterday, I know he's looking down on us and, just with a big smile on his face, because that's how he always has.
Call it a pure gold finish to her career that also included 4 Olympic gold medals.
When you look at just a storybook ending and you look at all the other things that you've accomplished along the way, this is just a great ending. It's awesome.
The next time you see her banner in the rafters at the Fieldhouse, they'll add the words, Hall of Fame. Dave First, RTV6 Sports. Hey, we continue to salute senior spring athletes who suddenly find themselves without a senior season. And tonight on RTV6 Senior Salute to Carmel Sydney Haynes. She was building for her final year. After much of her junior year was cut short with injury, she was a key cog on the Greyhounds 4x800 relay team, which made it to the state finals back in 2018. A young lady with a great attitude, appreciated by teammates and coaches alike, infectious for many classes to come. Great stuff, Sydney. If you'd like to nominate a spring sport athlete, email me at dave.first@WRTV.com.
/online care.
Kevin, we are loving those temperatures. Thanks for that good news. And thank you for making